Welcome to the Worship Probs podcast, where we aim to entertain, encourage, and equip worship and tech leaders all around the world. Look, we all know that serving in worship and production is great, but the problems, those are real. Thanks for joining us as we dive into today's episode with our host, Brian Tabor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 350 of the Worship Probs podcast. It's really hard to believe. 350 consecutive weeks. We're coming up on, I'm bad at math, guys. We're coming up on 7 years, I think, of the podcast here in October. So, if you're out shopping and you're going to get a gift, think of us. Think of your humble podcast host toiling away here for 7 years. Hey, we're glad you're here. And you're going to experience the 3 E's today: entertain, encourage, and equip. We want you to experience those every time you are in contact with us, whether it's following on the socials or the podcast or karaoke or whatever it is. And so if you would do us a favor, you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. Just jump over to Apple Podcast. Even if you listen on Poddoor or Oh My Pod or whatever platform you listen on, go over to Apple. It's the hub. It stirs the drink, the straw that stirs the drink in the podcast world. So go over there, find the Worship Probs podcast, leave us 5 stars and a really nice review. That helps us. We really believe, I've been doing this for every week for 7 years. So if I didn't think this made an impact, I would have quit long time ago because it is hard work. So, but we believe it makes a difference. We hope it does and pray that it does. And so if you've given us that 5 stars in the review, that helps get the word out to other people. And anything less than 5 stars would be uncivilized. Always remember that. So it's a beautiful day here in central Indiana. And I mean beautiful, like blue skies, mild temps. But when I think about beauty, when I think about grace, charisma, when I think about eloquence, when I think about someone who is amazing, all of that and more, I think about the one and only Mrs. Probs, Kim Tabor, and she's here with us today.
How do I live up to that? Oh, my word.
Hey, you
Brian.
already live up to that.
What an intro. Oh, my goodness. Well, I am so happy to be here. And you are right about the weather. We're headed into my favorite season of the year, fall. Fall with football, pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
Cool temps, changing leaves. It doesn't get any better than fall in central Indiana.
Yeah,
that's
beautiful.
for sure.
Beautiful.
And so we're also going to be sharing some prayer concerns here today on this episode. I'm always excited to be on the episodes with you. And we're also going to share a really great conversation with our friend Andy Swanson.
Great dude.
So it's going to be an incredible, incredible episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy's the best, and you guys always love it when he's on, and he's on today and got some great stuff to talk about. And as we're getting started here, I need to tell you about the amazing people at Planning Center. This episode of the Worship Probs podcast is brought to you by Planning Center, an all-in-one software that can help you organize every facet of your ministry, connect with your people, and help your people stay connected to each other. Among the many ways Planning Center can help you do that is through task management. In Planning Center, you can create detailed tasks, organize to-do lists, and even collaborate on those tasks with other team members in real time. Do you have recurring events and projects with long to-do lists? Make a task list template to save time. Have regular tasks you need help keeping up with? Set your tasks to automatically repeat at an interval of your choosing. And the best part is that you can create tasks from absolutely anywhere in Planning Center using the toolbar. You'll find your Tasks tab in Planning Center Home, the place you see all the important updates happening across your account. To learn more and get started today, visit planningcenter.com or click the link in our bio. Well, I also need to tell you, there may or may not, but definitely is a new format test coming to the podcast very soon. So
Exciting.
keep your ears open. So man, the fall has the late summer and early fall has been really, really crazy for Kim and I. Very, very busy. We've been doing lots of travel, which is fun and all that stuff. And in this season of life that we're in, where we both work from home every day, and Kim still speaks to me 3 years in, which is miraculous. But we've been doing lots of one of the things we've always done together most of our married life, which we just celebrated 30 years of marriage.
30
and I know
years,
she
can you
doesn't look
believe
like it. I look like it, but she does not look like she could possibly be married for 30 years. But we do a lot of stuff together. And so we've been doing a lot of guest worship leading, and we've been doing a lot of retreats / conferences for local church worship and production teams. Kim, tell us a little bit about what we've been up to.
I tell you, I've been so excited for this fall for all of these events that we have coming up. And we just did an event. We had an event in Canada recently, and then we had an event in Southern Indiana. The Southern Indiana event was one of our, I don't know if you want to call it a worship conference or retreat or workshop. Every church calls it something different. But it's a really special day where we just have an opportunity to pour into a local worship ministry. And we do general sessions. We talk about preparation, heart preparation, spiritual preparation, and some other tangible things for preparation, practical things. And we also do breakout sessions. I do a vocal breakout. You do band and production breakouts. It's just a really special time, and a time of unity and unifying a worship department. And we have a very special way that we end our worship time together with communion, and it's just a meaningful time.
Yeah, it's really special. There's really something about having your team walk through a day like that together. And
Absolutely.
then, in some places we'll kind of end the day with a big rehearsal and stay over and lead together in the services on Sunday, which is something that we love to do as well. But it is a really, really cool time. So we just been in Canada. We drove to Canada to lead worship. We had this weekend that you were talking about in Scottsburg, Indiana, First Christian Church. So in Canada, we had the craziest thing happen. It was awesome. First of all, our friend Luke Anderson, who's on our team of volunteers who helps to kind of run the Instagram account, and Luke is a lead pastor, so he walks at a different level than the rest of us.
Different realm.
So Luke, he's one of our favorite Canadians. He's probably our favorite. He invited us up to lead worship he was moving from one denomination to another and was being ordained into his new denomination, and invited us to lead worship for that ordination service. And then we stayed over and led in his service on Sunday morning at his church in Sarnia, Ontario. But a really cool thing happened. He has a local community choir that rehearses in the church building, and they let them do that for free, which is a really cool way of getting people from the community into your building, getting them used to being in your building. And I would say the best guess is that the large majority of those people are not people of faith or people who are followers of Jesus. And so, but he requested that they sing the song "Goodness of God." And they did that. So it's really amazing. You got these people up there, kind of proclaiming this thing that we're hoping and praying that they come to embrace and get to be a part of their lives. And it was great. They did a great job. And then Sunday at the service, there was one of those choir members who came to the service on Sunday. And I would venture to say that, we weren't like doing full elevation production by any means, but, for these people who are maybe not people of faith, being in a worship service like this was a completely foreign experience to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of them came back on Sunday and said, man, I find it hard to describe what I've been experiencing and what I experienced yesterday. I've never felt anything like it. And there was nothing that was going to keep me back away from here on Sunday. So this person, experienced the power of that ordination service. The Lord met us there and then, came back on Sunday, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was incredible. And I got very emotionally moved hearing them sing Goodness of God and wondering what the Holy Spirit was doing in some of their lives, because we know he's active and constantly working. So what was he doing? Not knocking on people's hearts' doors. I mean, I got very emotional during that for sure.
It's powerful. It was powerful. And
so
then
that was a great weekend.
In Scottsburg, we had kind of another really
we
cool
did,
thing.
But I need to ask you. Yeah.
First of all, I got to say,
what was your favorite part?
Yeah. So Eric Bannister, who is a listener of the podcast and has been for a really long time, is the worship pastor at First Christian in Scottsburg. And if you've listened to the podcast for any length of time, I have these little things that I love. And oftentimes, Luke did it in Canada with some chapstick and some other stuff. And I walk into First Christian Church, Scottsburg, and Eric slides across a box of strawberry Pop-Tarts, unfrosted, which,
unfrosted.
I am team unfrosted because you can enjoy the pastry. And I know that pastry should be in quotes, but yeah, Eric. So tip of the cap to Eric, man.
The frosting's the best part.
Well, it can be, but sometimes it's just that chef's kiss.
I know
on the pastry
you
part,
loved that, and he knew exactly how to get your attention on that one. I loved it. But we, like I said earlier, we close out our worship conference times with communion in a very special way, and I noticed that during the worship conference, the senior pastor ended up walking in, and he took part in everything that we were doing, and he even took part in communion. And I know we ended our time together, and you and I felt like things had gone okay, but immediately the senior pastor he jumped up and he started changing the format of the worship center, where the chairs were, and pulling out tables. And I started thinking, oh my goodness, they must have another event in here that they have to get ready for. I didn't realize that, and we'll hurry up and get out of here. Well, what I didn't know is that the Lord had really moved the senior pastor during communion, so much so that he decided immediately that he wanted to do that exact thing in both of his services the next morning. And we were staying over. The church was interviewing us and having us do a couple of other things. And so he said, can we do communion that exact same way? And I'm already starting to set up for it, moving all the chairs and everything that need to be adjusted. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's just incredible. You never know how the Lord's going to work, how the Lord's going to move. And we just had incredible services there with that church that Sunday morning, and getting to see an entire church body take communion in this way.
It's awesome.
Together as a family.
It was awesome.
It was
really powerful. So, and we got a few more of those events coming up this fall. And if that kind of piques your interest, I'd love to talk with you. We would love to talk with you about coming to your church, doing a retreat or conference or whatever you want to call it, workshop for your worship and production team. The best way to get us, you can send us an email, info@worshipleaderprobs.com. info@worshipleaderprobs.com. Send us an email, and we can talk about that. Maybe it's a retreat or a workshop. Maybe you want to bring us into your team night, and we can kind of customize that to fit into the time frame of what you're looking for. But yeah, we'd love to talk with you. Really grateful to to partner with local congregations around the country. And, later this year, we're going to be in New Jersey and Maryland and Florida. Yeah, we're kind of all over the place this fall, which is a wild adventure, and excited about it. Hey, make sure you sign up for our e-news. The link is in the bio for that. And Worship Karaoke, the new era, is coming very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that.
Yes.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And man, we're headed tomorrow. If you're listening to this on the day it releases, we're headed tomorrow down to Orlando for Experience Conference 2025, which is one of our favorite weeks of the year.
I can't wait.
It's going to be so awesome. There's still time to join us. Maybe you're in driving distance and you could still get there. We have a discount code. It still works. Probs25. It'll save you money. And as we get closer to the event, the price has to go up a little bit. So that money savings would be really, really great for you. So link in the bio for Experience Conference Probs25. Be on the lookout. We're recording a live episode of the Worship Probs podcast. I think on Wednesday in one of the workshops. Later on Wednesday, I'm teaching a workshop building set lists that unlock engagement through the AW scale. That's on Wednesday. I'm hosting a Q&A with Charity Gale one of the days, serving on a panel with one of our favorite friends, Ali Bajanos from Maven Media Productions, and she's on the Worship Probs team as well. And then we're having this is kind of tradition at Experience Conference. We have a Worship Probs meetup. So be on the lookout on our socials and make sure you join us for all of those fun events at Experience Conference.
Will any cronuts be eaten?
Many cronuts will be eaten. It's probably safe to say. Their cronuts make me go nuts.
I haven't heard that one before. Oh, hey, Brian, you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for Prayer Concerns.
Prayer Concerns is brought to you by DC Pro LVA. They specialize in transforming worship experiences with professional lighting, video, and audio solutions tailored for churches. Their team understands the unique production needs of churches and delivers cutting-edge equipment and personalized service to enhance services, events, and special gatherings. From vibrant LED walls and crystal clear audio systems to dramatic lighting designs, DC Pro LVA provides reliable, volunteer-friendly solutions that amplify your message and create a welcoming atmosphere for your congregation. Choose DC Pro LVA to elevate your church's worship environment with seamless production support. Their thorough design approach and dedicated team ensure your services run smoothly, engaging worshipers and fostering connection. Visit dcprolva.com or find them through the link in our bio to explore how their customized solutions can equip and empower your team, making every moment of worship unforgettable. Partner with DC Pro LVA today to create a powerful and inspiring experience for your church. Well, guys, you know them, you love them. Prayer concerns, the unhinged comments that you get from your church congregation. And it might come in a personal one-on-one. It might be an email, snail mail, YouTube comments, live stream comments. They're coming for you in all formats. And people send these in anonymously to us and we read them on the podcast. Our hope is just it'll make you take a breath and laugh a little bit because we're all wrestling the same alligators, man, when we're trying to help our congregations take a step closer to Christ in worship. And so we'd love to hear yours. You can go to worshipleaderprobs.com, click on prayer concerns up in the menu and submit yours there. You can also DM them to us on the socials. And again, you and your church will always be anonymous. Well, we got a great group today. So let's dive right in. Prayer concern number one. I got this comment and it said, some weeks I don't really think you know what you're doing, but today went pretty well. I mean,
if they only knew how many times many of us don't know exactly what we're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, you're really pretty accurate with the first part of that, right? Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
But to say that, to actually say that to someone.
That's a little much. That's a little much. All right, number 2, prayer concern number 2. I just had a baby 5 months ago and a whale. Sorry, that was a really terrible. Well, my Southern Indiana kicked in for, let me start it again. I just
yes,
had a baby.
Please start that one again.
I just had a baby 5 months ago, and a well-meaning older gentleman came up to me on Sunday and said, you know, some women stay massive after giving birth. It's nice to see that's not the case for you.
Oh,
okay, I'm gonna as speaking for the men here, just don't ever do that. Don't ever assume that a woman is expecting. Don't say anything. I think they're probably all the comments about our physicality probably should just not happen.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And if you're a man or a woman, you should not be making comments about whether a woman is pregnant or not.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Okay, number 3, prayer concern number 3. I didn't say hi to one of our female greeters because I was engaged in a conversation with my wife. The greeter said to me, "Why didn't you say hi to me?" I replied, "I'm sorry, I was talking with my wife." Well, is she more important than me? Absolutely she is. She then proceeded to tell me, I won't go to heaven because I'm so rude.
Is your wife more important than me?
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, she absolutely
kudos
is.
to him. Kudos to him for that response.
Absolutely is.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
absolutely she is. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Okay, number 4, prayer concern number 4. I got an anonymous note that said, the worship leader creates a hostile environment for her volunteers. Now, I do buy or make my team cookies on a regular basis. I'm not sure how that gives off hostility
with those cookies.
Hostile environment. You know what? Are they
goodness.
oatmeal raisin cookies? Because that would be hostile.
Yeah, I don't like oatmeal raisin.
I'm not a fan.
With you.
If
I'm
they're
not
chocolate
a
chip,
macadamia
though,
nut person.
Yeah,
with
if
cookies.
they're chocolate chip, I'm ready to throw hands. If they're like, or sometimes like chocolate chip oatmeal, I can do that.
Wow, hostile. That's a really intense word to use.
That's pretty
too.
intense. It's pretty intense.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to know a little bit more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Need some follow up. Okay, here's the last one, the bottom of the pudding cup, prayer concern number 5. I had a lady approach me a couple of weeks ago saying, I love that you have reintroduced hymns into our service, but can you make them sound like they used to? Because we loved them like they used to sound.
Oh, we have a friend who says, leave them alone.
Leave it alone.
Yep.
Leave it alone.
Leave the hymns alone. If you're going to do a hymn, leave it alone.
Yes. And
she would agree with that prayer concern.
This is a Sunday. We're recording this today. We led Blessed Assurance. And what did we do? We left it alone. We left it alone.
Yes.
We just
and
did
she
Blessed
was
Assurance.
very pleased.
She was, yes. The angels were rejoicing. Oh, well, fam, those are prayer concerns. Please send yours into us. Again, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you. And we would love to share yours anonymously on a future episode of the podcast. Well, I have had the pleasure of talking with this guy a couple of times. And man, thoughtful, heartfelt, authentic, absolutely loves the local church. And I'm excited to share this conversation that I had recently with my friend, Andy Swanson. Today's conversation is brought to you by New Life Ministries. Since 1988, New Life Ministries has been a trusted source of hope and healing, offering Christ-centered resources to people in life's most difficult places. If you've ever felt anxious, burned out, overwhelmed by ministry, or struggled with addiction, grief, depression, or trauma, New Life is here for you. They equip leaders like you with biblically based counseling, powerful workshops, online courses, and a nationwide network of Christian therapists. Whether you're walking through something yourself or want to better care for those you lead, New Life has real help for every season. Click the link in our bio to explore the tools, support, and life-changing guidance that can bring lasting freedom and healing. New Life Ministries, transforming lives with God's truth and grace. Well, the Worship Probs podcast, I would classify this as an old friend. We have an old, not that he's old, but he's just been a friend for a long time. Mr. Andy Swanson. Andy, great to have you back.
I don't know if our names show up on this when it's exported, but I realized I did not even type my name right.
I saw that. I assumed it was a joke because you're razor sharp.
Yeah, no, maybe not this morning. Sheesh.
Oh my gosh. How's your summer been?
It's been all right. We're in South Carolina. So, I've kind of joked that this is sometimes during the summer, it feels like it's where, Satan sends people to punish them, or Satan sends the denizens of hell to punish them. It can be rough. We did take so I've got 5 kids. My youngest is 13. And so we took her to her first concert. We went to Mumford & Sons. And it was outdoors on that whole heat wave day.
Yeah,
and it was rough. It was rough, but you do it all for the kids, right?
Right. Right. Absolutely. Man, I'm in Indiana. We don't get heat typically that bad, but our heat index has been like 105 for like a couple of weeks, and we're dying up here too. So it's rough. It's been a hot summer, man.
It's rough.
Yes, it is. Well, so pumped to have you back on today. Man, you're such a great friend to our community, and you've talked about all kinds of stuff. We've done webinars, we've done all kinds of stuff, and you bring an expertise in many areas, but especially in the area of like audio and monitoring. And tell me just a little bit. I don't think I've ever asked you this. Like, has that always been a passion? Where did that come from for you?
Really, it comes from audio. Just loving audio. Obviously, started off loving music young, and in the 5th, 6th grade, I think it probably started for me. My younger brother, was a little bit more into the hard rocker side of things. I was into hip hop and rap. I mean, Beastie Boys, first record, and Aerosmith with Run DMC made it okay for, folks of our color to like hip hop and to be okay. So for me, it was, I was taking piano lessons of some sort, and really didn't become a musician and probably till later in high school, but there was always a musical aspect. My parents played records and played guitar. My dad played a guitar. His brother was a banjo player, and his other brother played upright. So they kind of had this young band when they were kids. And so it's almost cliche to say stuff runs in the family, but I think it kind of does. This love of music. And so I went my first year of college, I went to SPU in Seattle. And then after that first year, I was graciously asked not to come back. And that's another story. We'll save that for another podcast. Yeah.
That'll be the next time.
And then I went to school for audio engineering. And did that, and turns out I loved everything about audio. I loved making gear, but I always end up preferring the producer side, the side that's helping people craft stuff, or even making the gear itself. Not so much miking. the sitting there spending all this time. I'm very, very much a close enough for jazz kind of guy. And I mean,
Yeah, I love that.
This is, another story for another day, but yeah, in this interim period after I had left a big healthcare position, I started a company building guitar amplifiers. And I've made some of my, you make the amp that you want, not necessarily, we weren't doing clones and stuff. We just made the amp that we wanted to play. When I go to record, I still use an Axe-Fx because I'm just too lazy to mic it up. Like, it's just not in me. So audio kind of became the thing. And always recording, and lived in a house of 7 guys. We had a recording studio in the basement in Seattle, and then always had my own gear and did recording and made records and different things. Then lived in Northern California in Chico while my wife was finishing school. And we put a bid on a recording studio in there that didn't happen. And I had this job that my dad had got me. I grew up on an almond farm. We call them almonds, but almond farm.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And my dad had a plant where we took the hulls and shells off almonds for about 150 other growers. So we're a processor as well. And so I grew up doing that. And I'm an Enneagram 5. And so everything's about data and understanding flows and how that works. So I was really good at the machine because I understood everything from top to bottom. And I remember teaching the adults how to run the machine and, ask my dad, like, hey, I'm teaching these guys how to run this thing. Can I get a little more money? He's like, well, do you pay insurance? The classic dad line. Anyway, so he had got me this job, and I was running this machine. We're newly married, and harvest was about a month after we got married, and it was a night shift. So at 7 at night to 7 in the morning, 7 days a week for 9 weeks during almond harvest. Oof. And it was the second year in that a friend of mine and I had tried to buy this recording studio. And, I just really was out there, and I felt God saying, yeah, I'll give you the studio if you like it. But if you want to go back to Seattle, there's more for you. I'm just not going to tell you what it was. So it was this kind of cosmic Monty Hall type of thing. Like, all right, we'll take door number 2, and went back to Seattle. I know this is gonna come around, but I started at. Okay, so I went up and my wife had a interview with a temp agency. I thought I'll go around to this temp agency as well and do all the testing and stuff, because I was thinking I'd like to have a job at Microsoft or something up there.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I'd go to this first agency, take all their tests and do the stuff so that I would know what to focus on when I went to the temp agency that I cared about. And got a call back and got hired by Nintendo to run phones or work on the phone banks during this holiday season. And so we did that, and there was somewhere around 75 temps they bring in, and I was one of 2 from this other side agency. And then everyone just started, at the end, they started letting temps go, and then they kind of kept me on, and then I got hired. And then I was like, I am not going to answer phones for the rest of my life. So they had these temp jobs where you could go. Now I'm a full-time employee, but you can get farmed out to do filing or different things in different areas. So I went into the licensing area. So this was in late 90s, 98, 99. And they were in the middle of this craze. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called Pokemon. Is it the name?
Gosh.
And it was the beginning of all that. So the licensing agency had to go through every sheet, sock, t-shirt, everything. So there's all this filing. And I decided, okay, I'm going to make myself indispensable because I'm not going back to the phones. And so I built a database system for them, just to be able to scan things in and type it in instead of doing this all by hand. And we could search for it instead of going through files. And sure enough, got transferred to licensing and then kind of went on from there into brand management and marketing. And then I was a producer for a number of years. So it was in that context of producing that we were looking at new technologies. My job was to find new intellectual properties for Nintendo, new digital things or hardware. And we came across a company that was making a trading card game with built-in RFID tags. So the idea of their game was when you played the game, you could level up your card because you could save it back to this RFID tag that was embedded in the card. And so I had pitched that to Nintendo as something we could use with Pokemon, because now you could just not only just play your card game, you had to have a physical card that you could scan with a USB reader and then play it with other people. So you could play physical cards long distance. And again, this was early 2000s, but then level up your cards. Like usually you can't level up a card, it's printed on there. And at the time, Nintendo said, it's not really for us. That technology did come out as the Amiibo, though, down the road. However, the company that built the USB reader was headed by a guy named Ted, and he and I kind of became friends. And through our relationship, that's how I ended up leaving Nintendo and working for Bayer Healthcare. And then after a period of time, I started working for him, and that was Digital Audio Labs. So that's kind of how this whole thing kind of came around, and this mix of audio, which I love the most, into the current products that we're doing now.
Man, that's incredible. What a journey.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. From Nintendo to
Yes.
Live Mix, man. I love that so much. So, okay, we're celebrating the release of the Live Mix Pro from Digital Audio Labs. And I have to tell you, I've told you this in person, but I am a super fan of
That's
Live
awesome.
Mix. I remember we installed Live Mix at my last church, and I remember the production director sitting me down and going, "Hey, I'm not going to mix your in-ears anymore. You're going to mix your in-ears." And I was so mad. I'm like, I've got all this stuff to do while I'm up there. I've got so much responsibility, and now you're giving me another responsibility. And literally, like after the first rehearsal, I was so in love with the Live Mix box. Like it is absolutely incredible. So give us a little bit of history. Like you went from Nintendo to Bayer, and then you went to Digital Audio Labs. Like, how was the Live Mix born?
So what happened was in the early, so Digital Audio Labs has been involved in pro audio for a long time. So when I was going to school for audio engineering, they had a device for PC when this is that weird time in Mac world where it was Mac clones, and then you had Pro Tools, but it would only work on a used Mac, and there's all this kind of weirdness. I was a PC guy, and so Digital Audio Labs made this device for PCs, and I was like, that's the device I wanted. So I always knew who Digital Audio Labs was. And so meeting Ted, and he's like, I worked at Digital Audio Labs, and now I own it. And it's like, oh man, that's fantastic. And so we kind of built this relationship around audio. And so then after being at Bayer Healthcare for a while and leaving that, Ted and I kind of connected on this Live Mix product that they were looking at doing. So in this early 2000s, Digital Audio Labs had built a mix engine, the mixing engine for IMAX theaters at the time. So we had been using personal monitor systems like Aviom and those. And we thought, we have this mix engine that we're using in IMAX. Why can't we do something that's easier to use? So it was initially designed to be, the design goals were to make it easier to use, and then also to be a good value for churches. So those were kind of the two things. So we met at a NAMM, kind of went over designs and just kind of started working on that product. And so I was, helping design what features went in it, what didn't go in it, and then the user interface. So I designed all the user interface for that. And then that just kind of turned into writing manuals and doing the marketing and all of that stuff. So that's kind of the origin of where that came from. And one of the things that we recognized when we're watching how people, well, first of all, as engineers, we are very comfortable with faders. I was trying to see if I had one to hold up, but slidey things, right? We've seen them, we mix, we understand that. It's just kind of second nature. When you look at a church volunteer, that's actually a foreign thing. When my wife or your wife goes to mix anything, it's like turning a knob to turn volume up. And so when you hand someone a bank of faders and say, here you go, you can make a mix, the first thing is this confusion of what do I do? Instead of a knob, I've got this slidey thing. I'm assuming up is up and down is down. Do they all have to be, what is the zero? Do they need to be straight? Is it okay if one is right? You're just adding questions.
What's the zero?
Well, because it is, and zero's not at the bottom.
So true. Yeah.
Zero's like
exactly. It's like, what is this?
2/3 of the way up. So, and then the lines, they like get closer together. And what does that mean to the person who sings once, twice a month? The second thing we recognized was, we'd all used Avioms, which are great systems, and we're super thankful that someone did it, because it really revolutionized how we play on stage. But you have 16 buttons, and as a musician, I know those are assigned to things. Now, ideally, there's a scribble strip that you write your name on. I would say maybe 10% of the time I'd go into a church where they labeled what was what.
Yeah.
So as a bass player, if I can learn, okay, I'm on 4, but I want less keyboard. Where is that? Keyboard is, I think it's 10, no, 12. If it's confusing to me, I'm just going to live with it. And I'm not going to actually make the mix that I need. And so we realized with live mix is the two things that really are the hallmarks of the simplicity or making it easy is it's a knob to adjust volume, and you can label it whatever you want. So I always know bass, press bass, turn the volume down. My brain doesn't have to have an abstraction layer where I'm thinking about where is that. So I don't have to, that's just something, it makes it easy because I can just look, hit, adjust. And it seems like a very simple thing, but a lot of confusion comes when we have to think about how to do something on the way to getting it done. And so you just don't have that time when you're on stage. You just need to adjust it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be quick. And I love that it's touch screen. I mean, the new boxes look absolutely incredible. It's touch screen. Like you can update names, and like if you're a team that names the channels of your singers every week, you update that right in the box, man. And I could even do that. And I am the poster child for being technically challenged. And so if I can do it, anybody can do it. And so, okay, the new units look incredible. Tell me, what will they do for the average team? You've talked a little bit about this already, but what will they do for the average worship team, and how can they? This is a 3-parter, the rarely used 3-part question. Okay, what will they do for the average team? How can it help them elevate their ministry? And is it true you have a special unit for music directors?
Yes, and yes. All right, so this is the thing that when we did the first live mix, we did 24 channels because everything else was 16. And we just wanted to add a little bit more. There's the times where you just needed a little more than 16. We launched that in 2014, so 10 years ago. Wow. And in that time, one of the things that's changed is digital consoles. And Now the base is 32 channels. So with Live Mix Pro, we did 64 channels. Now, I'm going to say it's up to 64 channels because you can configure it for 16, 32, 48, or 64. So if I set it to 32, it just looks like it's 32. You don't see that there's extra stuff. It's all intents and purposes, it's 32 channels. So, but it goes up to 64. I would I have to be careful how I say this because there's a lot of detracting opinions when it comes to this, but I think 32 channels is insane. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But because we have 32 channels in our mixers, we burn them. I was talking to a church recently who had 4 stereo guitars on stage. So then, of course, I'm like, so what are you, like 20,000 people? Or so it's like, no, 1,500.
Wow.
But, okay, so you're burning channels because you've got them, right? When in my day, when I had that recording studio in the basement, of our house, a 7, we have an 8-track recorder, reel to reel, and you record drums on like 5 to 8 channels, and then you've got to record it down, mix it down to 2 channels. So now I've got 6 channels to record the rest of the instruments. Do this, and you bounce it down, and you just keep going until you run out of space. So our mindset's always like, what are the fewest channels I can get around or get away with? But now we just have the luxury of channels. So 64 channels gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, when it comes to an average team, I wouldn't recommend having that many. I would probably not recommend having more than 32 if you can get away with it. But the nice thing about it is because it's scalable is 50 weeks out of the year, you can run with the 32. But then Christmas and Easter, when you add an extra choir or different thing, you can just open it up a little bit, So now you move to 48, you add those extra channels, and then you just go back. So it gives churches a little flexibility. It's a little more future-proof. If you do grow in the future, you go from a 32 channel to 48. You're accommodated. Again, I don't think that you should have to mix that way. So one of the things that we did was we made a group mix mode, and that allows you to just distill it down into 16 different groups. I don't even use 16. Let's see on mine. If I go to my group mix here, I'm looking at it. So I got drums, bass, guitar, keys, background vocals, and lead vocals. So I'm going to have those 6 groups. And it makes it much easier than dealing with, in this case, it's a 48 channel mix. I distilled it down into those 6 groups. So now I'm really only worrying about 6 things. And then I'm sure you've seen it, but you have the me knob, right? So you can set your me knob to the group. And in this case, you probably can't see it, but I've got this little icon here on the bass that shows that that's my me group. So I can live that way with my 6 channels and my me groups. I've always got access to more of me. And as for me, I put bass on its own. I don't add anything else to it. So that group then is effectively just bass, and then everything else is group. Another thing, this is an example that I use, is I will put, let's say, kick, snare, hi-hat, bass. I'm going to put, let's say, lead vocal, lead instrument. Okay, those 6 channels. I'll put those in a group. And then I'll put a bunch of other channels, like most of the other channels I would care about, into a second group. I assign that second group to my me knob. All right, let's see. So the second group goes to the me knob. So now it's not a me knob, it's a not me knob. Okay. So then I select that group, and I'm going to go to our expanded view. In this case, I'm going to see those 6 channels that I care about and me for everything else. So now I've distilled 48 channels into 6 plus 1. So it has the potential to really make it easy because, yes, 32 channels is a lot to mix. 48 is even more. And it's not just more channels, it's exponentially, because you're having to fit things in, and they're competing with each other. And So yeah, the ability to mix easily, still keep it easy, even if you've got 32 channels. And then one of the other pieces that kind of helps elevate, and this is kind of where that we can talk in conjunction with this MD version, is I would say one of the things that I notice in a lot of churches, and I don't know if it's an environment or an individual thing, but people are afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the one environment in the world where that's okay.
It should happen, yeah, right.
But it's not. So you have vocalists who just kind of live with it and can't figure it out, and so they just live with less, or they kind of on the sly might ask somebody. One of the things that we just continuously say is people need to be able to get help when they need it, because you have to be confident in order to perform your best. And I use perform in I know we're not doing a performance, all of those things, but you have to be able to hear yourself and be confident. So one of the things with live mix is mirror mix, which allows you to go in and hear any of the other mixes on the stage. So we take like this box and we put this back at our mix position. So this sits on the console, and your tech can then go into our mirror mix view and mirror mix. So I look at let's say background vocalist, and I select background vocalist. Well, now I'm hearing their box. Okay. Now the built-in intercom only talks to them. So I'm like, hey, you only have toms and hi-hat in your mix. Do you need some help?
Hey,
and it's not going out to everybody. Exactly. It's just that one person, and they're like, thumbs up.
Yeah.
So now I can go into their box, make a mix, or I can send a mix that I know is good. And then we also have a feature that's global mirror mix, where I can select multiple boxes. So when I set up a mix, I'll set up those groups, like I was mentioning, guitar, bass, keys, guitar, bass, keys, background vocals, lead vocals. And I will set up those groups ahead of time and just send them out to all the mixers, so that you've got a starting point. So it's helping people get to a mix quicker, so that something they can forget about and not have to worry about. That's kind of the essential thing. So that's how, you would level up your team, on top of the fact that it just sounds incredible. And when something sounds good, you mix less. There are other systems out there that are kind of squishy. I say, like, it just feels like there's not a separation between instruments, and then it's just fighting. So when everything's crystal clear, you mix better. So this guy is our MD version. So it's got a built-in mic preamp, and I can go into that mic preamp. I can set the gain. I can use phantom power, so I can use condenser mic as well. And now that takes the place of my intercom. So the MD will have a direct mic where he's able to intercom the whole team, especially like in our charismatic churches. It's like, we're going to do the chorus.
Yes.
Chorus again.
Exactly.
Chorus again. Let's do the chorus again. But yeah, so in that case, the intercom button changes, so you can select it to always on, or press the button to leave it on and press it again to turn it off, or push to talk as well. So you have a lot of options there. And in the studio world, it works really well also, because you just are behind that glass, and now you can just talk to everybody pretty easily. So yeah, it's a little thing, but it does make a big difference. And if you wanted, you could publish that intercom channel back to Dante. So you can, and actually this is not really as applicable when you're talking about a church purchasing, as much as if an integrator is purchasing. But every 2-channel mix can actually go back to Dante. So imagine an environment where you've got a nursing mother's room, and you're using a live mix box to control what that sounds like, because it does sound different, because there's no sub. Just sending a feed directly off your console doesn't work very well, because it's not in the same room. You've mixed for this room, and now you're sending it over to this little tiny speaker in another room, and it never sounds quite right, or an overflow. Or we've done it where you send it out to your Facebook feed, You just send this 2-channel Dante mix that you've made on this box. And because again, it's easier to do on this box and you're listening to it, you know what it's going to sound like through headphones and small speakers, and it just works really well. So it's very, very, very extensible, and it's actually ends up being a very good value because you can use it in a lot of different ways. And yeah.
Well, and as I said, you said it sounds incredible. And I cannot emphasize enough the ease of use and to be able to see everything, and not, like you talked about the kind of the guessing. Oh, which one is my vocal? Where you can just look for the Brian button or the Andy button or whatever your name is
button.
or Nady. Just hit it and adjust it. You can pan easily. It's just exceptional. So if somebody's listening and they haven't had a chance to use a live mix before, or even to see one, what's the best advice you have for how?
The first thing would be to check out online. Just kind of get familiar with it. And you can ask us questions. If you have a dealer, we can do demos. Usually do those through demo or through the dealers. We're at a lot of trade events and stuff as well. So we probably should put in upcoming events on our page so people can see where we're going to be. But ask the question, just either on social or directly on the site. We'd love to, everyone on the team has experience using it, and just calculating. I think at Digital Audio Labs, almost everyone's at a different church. And so we all have live mix in a different way. And so it's a wide swath of people who can really address any scenario.
Yeah. Will you be at Experience
Conference? We'll be at
Experience,
yes.
Okay. Well, next week, fam, and just stop by the Digital Audio Labs booth, see Andy.
It's not next week.
It's coming
first
up.
Week of September.
Yeah, it's a few weeks.
Whew.
It's a few weeks. Yeah.
Scare me, man.
It's coming. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And stop by and put your hands on one, man. You can see it in action. And Andy, you have such a great way of helping us understand. Like, you're like my Sherpa, my technology Sherpa. So I need those explanations. So thank you for doing that. Okay. So in terms of, here's more of a kind of a general question. In terms of monitoring, what would you say is something that you see kind of generally that churches are doing that maybe is holding their music ministry back a little bit? Like, if they did this, it might empower and unlock all kinds of potential on your team.
All right. So 2 things. One is, you got to say it right, because not everyone. There's a fine line here. We hear a lot of it's always phrased this way: I'm a blank, so I need blank. Typically, it's I'm the leader, so I need to hear everything. Okay, that's even at Al Claire does in-ear monitors. The leader's like, well, I need good balance because I need to hear everything. And I'm like, the reality is, number one, you don't. Because in rehearsal, you're going to hear everything. And if someone makes a mistake, if a bass player, if you're in C and he plays a C sharp, it doesn't matter. You can't hide, right? Whether that's in your mix or not, you can't hide. Second is, when you're in a service and someone makes a mistake, what are you going to do? Right? What does that look like? Do you turn and glare?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Throw a pencil.
Yeah, I did serve with a guy once who, whenever, and it was usually the leader who would miff a word, start off with the second line instead of the first or something. And whenever that happened, you knew he would redo the chorus. right? Because he had, it was more just to prove it to himself or something. So you knew, oh yeah, let's go. We're going. You don't need to hear everything. We talk about needing 4 things. You need a timing reference, and that's not the drums. It's like you heard me talking about the illustration, what I have in my mix. As a bass player, I want kick, snare, and I like some hi-hat. Everything else can be mixed lower, but it's typically kick and snare. It might be hi-hat, or it may be a metronome. You have to have a timing reference.
Yeah.
You need to have a harmonic reference or a pitch reference. So it might be the lead vocalist, but every instrument's going to be different. If you're a guitar player, you might want bass, or if you're acoustic, you might want keys. It's something that's going to make sure that you're playing the right thing, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
The joke I use is, as of yet, there's no Dove category for best personal monitor mix, right? We're not mixing records. We're trying to perform our best.
Exactly.
And so mix you at first, make sure you can hear you, timing reference, pitch reference, and then a leader. Those are like the 4 things you really need.
Mm.
And those are the essentials.
Yeah. And keys. I mean, everyone has a key.
Well, so you say that, but the keys are the first thing to go in my mix, No, keys are fine if you're playing pads, and the reality is most of the time you don't need to, as a musician, to hear the pads, because it's really only during the transition that becomes overly obvious, because the pads aren't really there to be heard. They are, but it's more of like holding everything together. It's like adding reverb to stuff that gels and glues everything. Yeah. And so when I'm talking to people about what everything you need to hear, and then also the other thing is pan left and right, get stuff out of the middle, move it however you need to. And with live mix, that it makes that easy. Not all mixers can do that, but
super easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the basics of how to make a monitor mix. That is the first thing, is you don't need to hear everything. And I have found that the people who say, I need to hear everything, they're not discipling people, they're not helping. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the thing is that says I need to hear everything. That's the first one. The second one, and I think we've talked about this before, is you have to give your techs time to make sure that you have to give your techs time to make sure that everything they need is in place, because what they need is actually what you need. They're not just there on an island doing, well, typically it's literally an island, but they're not, figuratively an island. Everything they're doing is actually in service of what you're also doing. So I see so many rehearsals where, we do a great class. It's my favorite class to teach on. It's running effective rehearsals. And one of the things that we say is if rehearsal starts at 7, downbeats at 7. And I get so much pushback,
Gosh, yes.
And it's because people are running. And here's the teams that this is what I hear from people. Well, I know, but I'm trying to feed my kids. And I'm like, the tech's been there an hour before you were, and they also had to feed their kids.
Right. And they'll be there after you leave, probably.
So make sure that you're respecting that relationship, and we can talk more about that ad nauseum. But
man, I love that. Those are 2 really, really great ones. If you're listening to this, you can understand why we love Andy, and absolutely we love the Live Mix Pro. And make sure you go follow Digital Audio Labs on the socials, and there'll be a link in our bio if you want to check out the Live Mix Pro. And I hope that you do, because it's a game changer. I promise you that. Okay, so Andy, we end every interview, every conversation with the big room question. You answered it before. But it's been a while. And so if we could gather all the worship leaders and all their volunteers and all the tech and production leaders and all their volunteers, we got them all together in one big room. We gave you a microphone. What would you want to say to them about what we do in the local church?
When I teach this class on, I think this is almost the same thing I said, but it's before, but it's that important. We teach a class on technology, personal monitors, compression, EQ, reverb, mixing for 32, 48 channels, all the Dante, how to work Dante, all the different technological things. And technology has made, I'm going to argue whether it's made our services better. Technology is an aid that can be very effective at helping us accomplish what we want to accomplish. This isn't what I would say, but this is a sidebar bonus, is that we talk about never using technology to solve a discipleship issue. Sometimes you just have to do the work of discipleship. You have that vocalist who can't sing, and then here's what we hear. Yeah, but they have such a great heart. Yeah, but you're having to run auto-tune, right? Like, do they know that? Because now you're lying to them, right? So anyways, okay. That's the bonus. But when we're teaching the class, I'll ask people, how many of you have ever experienced a service where power goes out, lights go out, sound goes out, every hand goes out? How many of you would say that was the sweetest moment of worship that you've ever experienced? Every hand stays up. Mm-hmm. And then the question is, so why are we chasing this technology thing so hard? Why do we elevate it as the number one thing? So my admonition is to recognize that we have all this talk. We talk about excellence and minimizing distractions, and really, it's not, excellence can be important, but it's not about excellence, it's about connection. And are we connecting with the congregation? Are we helping people connect with God? There's a lot of times as a worship leader, I was always taught, and I've led worship, and the vibe or the thing that I'm always hearing is, well, the worship team needs to be super holy and stuff because they're going to lead people into the presence of God. And the idea was that there was this curtain, and me as a worship leader, I'm trying to find the part in the curtain that I can pull apart and then enter into the Holy of Holies, and everyone's going to follow me like I'm some Pied Piper, leading people into the presence of God. Mm-hmm. So one day I'm at McDonald's, and I see someone drop one of those coins in that has that like Ronald McDonald House thing, and it just spirals down. And I realized, no, as a worship leader, it's my goal to help people focus on the God that's already there. So whether it's with technology or without technology, I need to help people who've walked in there and had a fight with their spouse on the way in, couldn't find parking because all the visitors get to park up front and I had to park in the back, hoping my number doesn't get shown up on the screen because I tried to sneak my kid in with a little bit of a runny nose, and I'm watching, I'm distracted. I've got this. Oh man, there's that person I've said 17 times we should have them over. And I don't want to talk to them again because I'm just going to say, yeah, we should get together. Sidebar number 3, I do think we should have like a year of Jubilee or a season's Jubilee where like all bets are off. Every time you invited somebody over, that starts over again now, for the next year.
Yeah.
But people have all these distractions in their mind. And our goal is to help them minimize those distractions and then focus on the God that's already there. And once I had that picture, all of a sudden stuff made more sense. It was when we say that in the presence of two or, that wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, God is there. The first model doesn't fit that. This model does. The first model of leading people into the presence of God, well, isn't God already there? If he's already there, my goal is to help you make a connection. And if I can use technology to help you make a connection, or if it's personality to help you make a connection, if it's community, the person, that's the goal. And yes, we can, excellence helps, but it's not the end all. It's what are we doing to help people make a connection? So then you have a product like Live Mix. And the reality is, if I can get out of the way, you can hear yourself well, you can hear some of the congregation that you're leading, you will make a connection with them. And if I don't have to worry about this part, then I can make a connection better. It's the same reason we rehearse. We rehearse so that we don't have to think about the chord changes. We don't have to think about what we're playing. We can focus on making a connection. So that's what I would say.
Man, that's phenomenal. Guys, make sure you go follow Digital Audio Labs on the socials. Check out the new Live Mix Pro. We'll put a link in our bio for that. And man, if you're around at Experience Conference, and I hope you are, or wherever Andy is, and he's everywhere, go by the Digital Audio Labs booth, check out the Live Mix, and I promise you, you'll be blown away. I know I was, and I am a super fan. So Andy, you're a gift to our community, man. Time with you is always, always a blessing.
You as well.
Thank you so much. First of all, Andy Swanson is absolutely the best.
Yes.
Okay, the best, absolutely. And okay, you and I have had some experience with these Live Mix boxes.
They're incredible.
And okay, we are not exactly in the bullseye of technology. You know,
no,
you and I are not like gearheads.
No, not at
So
all.
tell me, how long did it take you to get used to using it?
Oh, it was very easy to get used to using it.
Touch screen. Yeah.
As a bit of a control freak, as I am, to be able to have control. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So,
it was really nice. And, to not have to bother the audio guy who's, juggling a bag of running chainsaws, up there in the booth. We just slip over, adjust our deal and go. I 10 out of 10. I recommend checking out those Live Mix Pro boxes. There's a link in our bio for that. And we absolutely love Andy. And so we'll tag him up. Make sure you go follow him. And as always, we are honored and thrilled that you have spent a couple of moments of your week here with us on the Worship Probs podcast for episode 350.
Yes. Now, remember to hit subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And please do us a favor, go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rating with a nice review. That's a huge help to us in spreading the word about the podcast. Thanks, too, for following us on all the socials. At Worship Probs on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube. At Worship Leader Probs on TikTok. And you can also join the Worship Probs community on Facebook. And on X, look for the Worship Leader Probs hashtag.
Yeah. And guys, for the last 300 episodes, a lot, for several years, our friends at Maven Media Productions have just been killing it for us. Editing our podcast, graphics for our podcast. We've talked with Allie before. We've talked with Heath Bottomley, and they're just amazing people. And what they're doing for us, they could do for you, for your church. Maybe your communications team needs some help with social strategies or how to make content, how to shoot services, from an audio and video standpoint, all that stuff, or you need logos, branding, websites, whatever it is. Hit them up at mavenmediaproductions.com. The link in our bio will take you to their page as well. Tell them we sent you. They are incredible people, and they will do a killer job for you. And thanks to our dear friend, Scott Hoke, for our intro. Guys, we absolutely love you. And if we see you at Experience Conference, make sure you say hi.
Yes.
Let's break some bread, or maybe break a cronut together. Who knows? And we'd love to see you down there. And so until next time, deuces.
KT out.